Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzea. Sakaleji, the headlines. UPND members beat up PF CADRE at High Court grounds. Chinese firm continues to attract industrial unrest. Criminals shoot dead police officer and rep toll agent. And in international news, South Africa and Kenya take off UK's red list. And in sports, FAS complains to FIFA over poor officiating by Moroccan referee. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
We sincerely apologize for delaying the main news. And now the main news in detail. Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has terminated the contract for Zambia Revenue Authority ZRA boss Kingsley Chanda. In a statement made available to the media by Presidential Chief Analyst, Press and Public Relations Officer Cecilia Mulenga, President Hichilema has since appointed Mr. Dingani Banda as the new ZRA Commissioner General. And Mrs. Mulenga says the decision by President Hichilema to relieve Mr. Chanda of his duties is an exercise of his power in accordance with Section 193 of the Zambian Revenue Authority Act of the Laws of Zambia. The President has since thanked Mr. Chanda for the service he has rendered to the nation and has wished him God's blessings in his future endeavors. Aggrieved workers at CADRE Zambia Ceramatic Limited, a Chinese-owned company in Lusaka, downed twos and took to the streets Friday morning, citing poor conditions of service. Speaking to Camnet News, the workers have highlighted the lack of protective gears, long working hours, poor pay and the lack of contracts, among other challenges. However, in a separate interview, company project director Mr. Jason Huang has denied the claims, stating that the company is abiding by all labor laws.
Allegations of workers being ill-treated by various companies are on the rise, as there seems to be a new case being reported nearly every week. These are workers from CADRE Zambia Ceramics Limited, a Chinese-owned company specialized in making ceramic tiles, who abandoned their workstations Friday morning and took to the streets to air their grievances, as they feel they have had enough. The workers say they're subjected to substandard working conditions, which include low pay, lack of protective gear, long working hours, and some say they still have not been given contracts despite working for more than 6 months. They were speaking to Camnet News in an interview.
PPE, tiribe PPE, tusenza mvova na vatu. Twakangiwa tingaselenze bwana vova na vatu mansapato yapa saraula yonse yasira mansapato yapa chipare yonse yasira tuzambo selenza bwanji twakangiwa. Number 4 chanishi mahawazi yapa kamaningi utamba 8 hours up to 20 hours abofora mu 16 twakangiwa.
Probation nanga Mzambia no moshe ni 3 months or 6 months. Uzapeza muntu asiriza 3 months futi azange na futi mu 6 months bamuletera 40 again at confirmation letter. Muntu ana 7 months no contract form. Sasa ina
tatwashibana salary tufura lelo wafula kwa 1 mailo wafula kwa 1 pini 2 mailo wafula kwa 800 mshini company ya Musangoshani
Ero futi state ndala mabere ni
kuna kutwafudisha
umamwirana abantu bakwaleza
twalisa kuno mwingira makulia mukasanga futa gari kulichongo.
The company, however, has defended itself, stating that they adhere to labor laws and are paying the minimum wage as stipulated in the Zambian labor laws. Company project director Mr. Jason Huang has also justified the lack of protective gear for some of the workers.
Our labor force has been growing up from 500 up to 1,200 now. Okay, so we'll keep increasing. Our speed for procurement may not catch up this demanding for PPE, but we made a plan to procure. And this thing we have been always giving attention to the management, and the company have already made a plan. And we are sure by end of the month, all the PPE can be still given to those who doesn't have.
We have shifts here. We have machines that are running 24/7 that cannot shut down. The cost of shutting down the machine, it costs more of the company. So we have shifts. They are working 12 hours per day. We've got three groups in every shift. We've got Group A, Group B, and Group C. If, for example, Monday Group A comes morning 8 hours to 20 hours, Group B comes, those people will not go. Group B comes in to pick up from those hours. So if you look at the way they are working, 12 hours, 148 hours reaches their own shifts. If you look at the way they are working, you find that they're working for 4 days in a week.
Meanwhile, Labour Commissioner at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Mr. Givens Muntengwa, says the same company was earlier this year closed for failure to provide protective gear and contracts. He has expressed disappointment that the same reports have continued.
There should not be at any given time where an employee who is required to have PPE be allowed to operate. This is an illegality, and this must not be condoned or tolerated, and shall not therefore be condoned or tolerated. Working hours, will see to it, especially that there is a complaint on contracts, will see to it that the contracts include very specific number of hours that an employee is supposed to work, and any extra hour must be paid as overtime.
Mr. Muntengwa adds that the ministry will conduct inspections and take necessary action. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Cleaning Association of Zambia has appealed to government to take practical steps to ensure that Zambians dominate the cleaning industry. Mr. Makumbi regrets that cleaning, despite not being a technical activity, it being dominated by foreigners at the expense of capable Zambians. He has since called for amendments on the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission Act of 2009 and the PROVERBS Act so as to address pending issues in the cleaning industry. Speaking during a media briefing in Lusaka on Friday, Mr. Makumbi said the cleaning industry cuts across all sectors of society, hence the association stands ready to work with the government to steer the job creation agenda.
The cleaning sector in Zambia employs in excess of 20,000 workers, mostly women and youths. However, for the past 30 years, the sector has been dominated by foreign cleaning firms with the control over 75% of the business in the country. It is argued that this development has been necessitated by the lack of good regulating laws of the industry. The Cleaning Association of Zambia has therefore appealed to government to amend the two sets of laws, being the Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission (CEC) Act of 2009 and the PROVERBS Act, so as to address pending issues in the cleaning industry. CAS President Lawrence Makumbi as stated during a media briefing Friday, October 18, 2021.
The UPND government, the New Dawn government, and the Minister of SMEs must make sure that he makes amendments to the CEC Act of 2006. This should be done sooner than later. The former Commerce Minister was supposed to present this to Parliament. However, we didn't see much progress on this matter, even though we pushed it a lot. The importance of amending the CEC Act of 2006 is to ensure we add proper definition of who and whom a Zambian is. With this, will come better incentives for the Zambian entrepreneurs.
Meanwhile, Mr. Makombe has noted with concern how some Zambians are being used by foreigners to front businesses and says this practice should be addressed.
We have a big challenge with that statement because foreigners fly into Zambia and they walk into Pakra and they register a business 100% foreign owned. This grave anomaly must not be allowed to continue. Hence, we need to amend the Pakra Act.
Mr. Makombe has since urged the government to follow up pending issues and look into the plight of the local cleaners in Zambia. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Unknown criminals have shot dead a 28-year-old police officer identified as Constable Wilson Lungu, who was manning Kalemsi tollgate in Kasama, Northern Province. Police spokesperson Ro Hamunga says the criminals also raped 2 female toll collectors who are employees of the National Road Fund Agency. Mr. Hamunga says the CCTV footage reviewed has shown a criminal armed with a pistol, clad with a headsock and mask, holding a torch, shot the officer twice in the chest and on his left leg in one of the rooms, who sustained bullet wounds and died on the spot. The police spokesperson says the criminals later grabbed an AK-47 rifle with 30 rounds of ammunition and threatened the 2 female toll collectors to open the safe where 38,425 kwacha had been stolen, including cell phones for the officer and those belonging to the toll collectors.
Police in Kasama have launched a manhunt in the cases of murder, aggravated robbery and rape, which occurred on the 8th of October between 02 hours and 04 hours at Kalense Tollgate in Kasama, in which a police officer under the protective unit number 42285 Constable Lungu Wilson, aged 28 years, was shot twice in the chest and in the left leg by the unknown criminals and died on the spot. He sustained bullet wounds on the chest and in the left leg. Brief facts of the matter are that whilst the officer was on duty with 2 female toll collectors, employees of National Road Fund Agency in Kasama, they were attacked by unknown armed criminals. Upon viewing the footage of the CCTV, the footage shows a criminal armed with a pistol, clad in a headsock and mask, whilst holding a torch, who shot the officer twice in the chest and on the left leg in one of the rooms, and sustained bullet wounds. Later on, the criminal grabbed an AK-47 rifle with 30 rounds of ammunition. He further threatened the 2 female toll collectors to open the safe and store money amounting to 38,425,000 kwacha.
Kabushi area member of Parliament Bowman Lusambo is expected to appear before the Luanshya Magistrate Court on the 18th of October 2021 for plea following his arrest Friday morning for the offence of assault. Mr. Lusambo was this morning arrested by police on the Copper Belt for allegedly assaulting 2 members of the National Democratic Congress Party in 2019. Those alleged to have been assaulted by Mr. Lusambo are Mary Msonda, who sustained some laceration and general body pains, while Stanley Musukwa sustained a deep wound on his head. Drama characterized at the Lusaka High Court Friday afternoon, shortly after the court adjourned the Mandevu parliamentary election petition. Lucas Changala, a Patriotic Front cadre, was brutally beaten by some UPND members at the High Court grounds after they accused him of murdering a UPND member only identified as Yoram Moyeti during the 12th August 2021 general elections. The unidentified PF member, who went to offer solidarity to Mr. Shakafusa, was unlucky as the ruling member pounced on him after he was identified as the man that killed the deceased Muyeta.
This chap is a criminal.
Friday afternoon, a gunshot was fired at the Lusaka High Court after some suspected United Party for National Development members attacked a Patriotic Front member, Lucas Changala, who they accused of murdering a man identified as Yola Muyeta. gunshot was fired to dispense the UPND members after security at the court fought battles with them as they tried to take Shangala to safety. This commotion all started when the UPND members went to attend the Mandevu parliamentary election petition, where the election of Christopher Shakafuswa of the PEF is being challenged by Aaron Molope, the losing UPND candidate. The party members accused Shangala of murdering Muyeta during the 12th August 2021 general elections. The members who saw Shangala at court after he went to offer his solidarity to Mr. Shakafuswa did not hesitate to waste any time as they quickly pounced on him.
The guy killed a UPND member when they were putting the billboard. These are criminals. They removed my teeth.
Meanwhile, the police have confirmed the arrest.
Today at the High Court, there was an incident around 13-20 hours where cadres who had gone to give solidarity to their losing candidate from UPND was petitioning the results of the parliamentary election of Honorable General Shakafuswa, identified a PF cadre by the name of 8208 Mandevu Compound, also a media personnel of Honorable Shakafuswa, to be one of the who was identified as one of the suspects involved in the murder of Joram Muyeta, who is alleged to have been killed by suspected PF cadre on the 19th of July 2021, around 1450 hours in the Mandevu compound. The cadres, upon seeing him, they pounced on him, and quick action by police saved him from being injured. The same suspect was later taken to Emerson police station, and where is currently detained the station which is handling the matter.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Lusaka Magistrate Crispin Hampungani has recused himself from presiding over the case in which Lusaka businessman Simon Mwewa has been dragged to court by Patriotic Front Chawama Area Member of Parliament Tasila Lungu, citing unfounded allegation from the prosecution team questioning how he granted Mr. Mwewa bail yesterday in chambers without the knowledge of the prosecution team. Magistrate Hampungani has, however, declined to evacuate the 50,000 kwacha bail he granted Mr. Mwewa on his own recognizance after the state applied that his bail is revoked. In this matter, Mr. Mwewa is accused of label and cyberbullying against Ms. Lungu. Ms. Lungu has hired a private prosecutor, Makebi Zulu, to prosecute this case against Mr. Mwewa, who is also a social media blogger.
Saved by the bail, Lusaka businessman Simon Mwewa will not have to spend his night in sales after the court declined to vacate the 50,000 kwacha bail in his own recognizance that it granted him on Thursday, following an application that was made by the state Friday morning that Mr. Mwewa's bail was not readily granted. Lusaka Magistrate Crispin Hampungani ruled that the case which Mr. Mwewa has been charged with is misdemeanor and any court could have granted him bail. Mr. Mwewa, who failed to take his plea Friday morning after the matter was sent back for reallocation, is alleged to have on his Facebook page published a post alleging that the Chawama lawmaker Tasila Lungu, who is also daughter to former head of state Edgar Lungu, was being investigated for the suspicious purchase of a bank together with all its assets worth 3 million kwacha. He stands charged with the offense of libel contrary to Section 191 and that of cyberbullying contrary to Section 71 of the Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Act No. 2 of 2021. Earlier, when the matter was called for plea, the private prosecutor hired by Mr. Sila Lungu, Makebi Zulu, applied that the magistrate rescue himself from presiding over the case because of the questionable manner in which he granted Mr. Mwewa bail on Thursday late afternoon. Mr. Zulu submitted in his application that there was no formal application for bail on record and that the prosecution was not available in chambers when the case came up. He further submitted that his client, Dasila Lungu, was concerned because the bench warrant was returnable on the 8th of October 2021 and was not aware of the Thursday proceedings in which bail was granted in chambers in the absence of the state. In delivering a ruling, the magistrate rescued himself from the case, citing the earlier allegations made by the Chawama lawmaker through Mr. Zulu, questioning the court the manner in which Mr. Mwewa's bail was granted. Mr. Mwewa, who is also a politician according to the court's indictment regarding his occupation, is expected to appear before court on Monday next week for reallocation of his case and possible plea. Miriam Kaemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We continue with the rest of the main news. Postal and Courier Association of Zambia says due to COVID-19 that has ravaged the entire world in the last 3 years, the sector is considering introducing e-commerce in terms of service provision. Association President Gabriel Zuru says members of the public will have to access services online and enjoy doing business at the comfort of their homes. Mr. Zulu has since appealed to Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority to finalize the road naming project, as the sector now depends on an accurate GPS address system.
Postal and courier services basically involve the collection, sorting, transportation, and delivery of goods and physical communications from a sender to a recipient. The defining feature of such services is that the nature and volume of goods or communications supports scheduled regular delivery through a permanent delivery network that reaches almost every point in a given area. Due to COVID-19 that has weakened the entire world in the last 3 years, the sector is considering to introduce e-commerce in terms of service provision.
The postal sector, both at global and national level, has experienced massive, and I want to emphasize the term, massive transformation in response to the market and interest of consumers. You will agree with me that before the ubiquitous usage of telecommunications, written letters were the main form of communication. Further, messages were communicated through documents such as journals and periodicals.
The President, Gabriel Zulu, says members of the public will have to access services online and enjoy doing business at the comfort of their home.
A reduction of circulation of letters and email. You agree with me that nowadays most of you people, you use email, you use social media, and the postal sector has been going down, and it requires transformation and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, despite these developments, I'm pleased to say that the postal services are far from being rendered irrelevant. The sector has slowly but surely been evolving towards becoming an essential service upon which last mile speedy delivery.
Due to their vast delivery networks and need to diversify, postal operators have over time added a financial dimension to their businesses and now provide services such as money transfers, bill payments, even postal banking. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Local Government Association of Zambia COVID-19 Advisory Center and donor organizations have called on citizens not to drop their guard COVID-19 in the country. In cooperation, U.S. Local Government Association of Zambia had in the last 14 months put together COVID-19 Advisory Center meant to help local authorities in Zambia fight the global pandemic. And speaking at the close of the project, Local Government Association of Zambia COVID-19 Advisory Center Coordinator Enes Sumani says the project has scored a number of success, which includes the production of knowledge materials such as the rapid assessment, impact of COVID-19 on local authorities, development of district emergency plan and standard operating procedures. Meanwhile, GIZ program coordinator in charge of decentralization for development, Dr. Wolf Christian Peters, is impressed that many people countrywide have been reached through the center.
But key among those is the development of the emergency preparedness, response and recovery manual, which local authorities will continue to use for years to come. Further, I think the memorandum of understanding that we have signed with the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry will actually help our local authorities in terms of having structured engagements with the private sector in their respective localities.
We also helped in sensitization campaigns through the dissemination of information through 10 radio stations that we supported in all the 10 provinces of Zambia. And from that intervention, we estimate that we reached over 7 million Zambians through the listenership programs of the radios and all. In addition to that, in terms of sensitization, we also supported local authorities with IEC materials that were developed in collaboration with Ministry of Health and Zambia National Public Health Institute.
It also took up the idea that local authorities would have to play a more decisive role in the fight against COVID or any other future pandemic or emergency. The ministries and government agencies, which are also partly present here today, like the Ministry of Health, can testify about the importance of local.
Ministry of Health has begun working on a report that will spell out the projection of needs for the response to COVID-19 for the first 6 months of 2022. Stating in a press statement, Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo says once finalized, the critical document will be shared with all key stakeholders. The minister says this will enhance different opinions that will help in the fight against the pandemic. Ms. Masebo adds that the document will have an inbuilt of price reasonableness, value for money, and timely delivery in the procurement process. She has also disclosed that in the last 24 hours, out of the 5,081 tests conducted countrywide, the country has confirmed 32 new COVID-19 cases and 0 deaths. Chilanga Town Council Chairperson Champion Tembo lamented that inclusive access to clean drinking water has remained a challenge in the area. He says this despite having 230 boreholes in the entire district. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Tembo has disclosed that the new Dawn government wants to change the status quo by putting in place measures to respond to the water problem. He explains that they want to be utilizing solar-powered pumps which are cost-efficient. In the meantime, the council chairperson has disclosed that the district will soon receive 3 ambulances which will help improve health service delivery in the area.
In terms of quantity and quality to our people, Chilanga has, by my count, somewhere around 230 boreholes. That is not even 20% of what people require, but maybe continuing to drill boreholes where there's only one person at a time who can access water may not help us to solve the problem. So we want to go solar. We want to tap the water and make sure that from one water source there are a number of people that can draw water at a time to reduce on the time that they are wasting to draw water instead of doing their work. On health services, the whole district with a lot of health facilities only has one ambulance which is actually running. We've already moved in that direction. Within the next 2 weeks, 3 ambulances will come on board.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We take our second set of commercials. Coming next is international and sports news.
Would you like to win some cool cash? Say no more. Stand a chance to win your share of 1 million kwacha. Simply make a transaction from your Zamtel mobile money account and you could be one of weekly winners of up to 10,000 kwacha. Be empowered with Zamtel mobile money. Dial *344# to activate your account. This promotion runs from 28th July to 31st October 2021. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
At Savenda Express Printing, we have the capacity to deliver quality in all kinds of printing services timely. Our lines of production include screen printing, embroidery, lithography, and large format printing. We take pride in delivering quality work at very competitive rates with our in-house, highly experienced and qualified designers. With the ability to print full color and embossing prints, our state-of-the-art screen printing machines are able to print 1,000 pieces per hour. Our embroidery machines are able to print any logo with 1 or up to 12 colors all at once and has an output capacity of 100 pieces per hour. Savenda Express Printing also does large format printing for billboards, banners, vinyl, car stickers, posters, tire covers, cups, pens, bags, flasks, packaging boxes, and well, just anything that can need printing. For inquiries, give us a call on 0960 344 471.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010, or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 2444 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you for staying with us. Now getting into our international item. UK's Transport Secretary announced changes to the UK's Red List, paving the way for a return to international travel. Meanwhile, a blast has torn through a mosque in Afghanistan's northeastern city of Kunduz during Friday's prayers, causing multiple deaths according to the Taliban. Here's a roundup of international news.
South Africa and Kenya are two of the countries taken off the UK's Red List this Friday. This means that travellers from those countries no longer have to self-isolate in an approved hotel at their own expense when arriving in the UK. Brazil and Mexico have also been removed from the Red List. All changes take effect from Monday, and passengers still need to fill a passenger locator form upon arrival. UK Transport Secretary said these changes mark the next step in opening travel, as it will allow families to reunite after being separated during the pandemic. The news have been welcomed by the travel industry, seriously affected during COVID-19. The changes do not apply to the devolved administrations in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland.
An explosion inside a Shia mosque in northern Afghanistan has killed at least 30 people and wounded 100 others. It happened in the strategic city of Kunduz, close to the border with Tajikistan. It comes just 5 days after an explosion near a mosque in Kabul killed 13 people. A group affiliated to ISIL claimed responsibility. Let's speak now to Hashim Ahlabara. He's in northern Afghanistan in the city of Mazar-e-Sharif. So, with an explosion like this, one fears, Hashim, usually and tragically, the casualty toll rises quite quickly.
Indeed, Sammy, and this explains the very tough challenges ahead for the Taliban since their takeover of Afghanistan. Now, eyewitnesses are talking about a suicide bomber who managed to get into a mosque packed with worshippers, and he detonated himself, and this explains the high number of casualties. And people are saying that expecting the number of the death toll to further climb later in the upcoming hours, because many of the injured are in a serious and critical condition. Akbar Khan is a crowded area in Kunduz, and the mosque is predominantly is a Shia Hazara mosque. Kunduz is one of the cities in the northern part of the country where you have different ethnic groups living together: the Tajiks, the Uzbeks, the Pashtuns, and the Hazara. Now, there's been no claim of responsibility so far, but the Taliban spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid said that the Taliban forces, the elite unit, is there sealing off the whole area and trying to figure out the circumstances of the blast, what happened exactly and who was behind this. But this is something which is definitely going to put further strains on the Taliban, because they came to Afghanistan saying that our biggest asset is providing security. That is now being challenged by many groups operating in the country.
And Hashim, what do we know about this group that's being described as a group affiliated to ISIL that's claiming responsibility?
Well, what is happening is extraordinary now, Sami, in Afghanistan. ISK, or the Islamic State of Khorasan. Khorasan is the modern times name of this region, including Afghanistan. It was established in 2015 at the very height of the Islamic State in the Levant, and it pledged allegiance to al-Baghdadi. And then it said that its own goal is to spread ISIL ideology in Afghanistan. It then found itself on a collision course with the Taliban, which was then vying for a bigger presence in Afghanistan. I was talking over the last few weeks here in Afghanistan, particularly in the capital Kabul, with senior Taliban officials about ISK, and they said that they are adamant they want to eradicate ISK because they consider it to be an enemy, an existential threat for the Taliban. So from 2015, they've managed to set up themselves in different parts of the country. In Jalalabad, which is widely seen as the focal point or the stronghold of ISK, but also in the capital Kabul, and also in different parts of the northern parts of the country where I am now. Not far from here, there is a presence of different groups. I was planning a trip to Kunduz, but I was told a few hours ago that I really need to get a clearance from the Taliban to be able to move forward to those areas, because they say that one of the biggest concerns is that the presence of armed groups from the road in different parts from here all the way towards Kunduz. ISK now presents itself as the biggest challenge for the Taliban be able to crack down on the ISK. We have to wait and see, because what is happening now is that you have the forces of the Taliban stretched thin. In Kunduz, for example, the Taliban decided to move thousands of its fighters all the way on the border with Tajikistan because of this tension that has been building up there. And this gives us an idea about the challenges that the Taliban will be facing in different parts of the country.
And that was Hashim Ahlabarra there from Mazar-e-Sharif in Afghanistan.
We now get into our sports item. The Football Association of Zambia has written to FIFA over the poor officiating of the match played Thursday between Zambia and Equatorial Guinea in the ongoing World Cup qualifiers. Zambia lost 2-0 away to Equatorial Guinea, with the two teams facing off in a reverse fixture on Sunday at National Hero Stadium in Lusaka. The association has experienced disappointment over the unfairness exhibited by the Moroccan referee El Jafari Naruddin and his countrymates Bransi Zakaria, Nolia Yahya and Zuraki Adil in charge of the Qatar 2020 Group B match against Zambia. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. UPND members beat up PF CADRE at High Court grounds. Chinese firms continue to attract industrial unrest. Criminals shoot dead police officer and rape tollgate agents. And in international news, South Africa and Kenya take off UK's red list. And in sports, FAS complains to FIFA over poor officiating by Moroccan referee. Before we go, here is our Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from the book of Proverbs 17 verse 17, and it reads, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born at a difficult time." I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Pleasant viewing.